Well, good morning and welcome to Coach's Corner on this last Saturday of October. A little dreary, a little drizzly outside, a little foggy. Maybe not the best day to head out to the shack, but of course deer hunting just a week away. And if you haven't got your stuff done, you're going to have to make your way out there. So wish you the best of luck on that today. Let's go back to last night in local area sports and getting things started. The Rainy River volleyball team was down in Brainerd. A chance to maybe wrap up a home playoff berth next weekend at home as they take on Central Lakes. Central Lakes sitting in first place in the Northern Division with an 11-1 record, and Rainy River coming in with a 10-2 record. Rainy swept Brainerd up here, Central Lakes up here a couple of weeks ago. So the return match, and Central Lakes gets the best of Rainy River 25-19, 25-10, and 25-16. That means Central Lakes wraps up the Northern Division with their 12-1 record with one match to play against Mesabi Range today. Rainy River drops to 10-3 on the season, and they're tied with Itasca at 10-3. Central Lakes does not play Mesabi. Itasca plays Mesabi Range today. And Rainy River heads to Thief River Falls already there, and they take on the Pioneers today at noon. Either way, no matter what happens today, Rainy River and Itasca play next week as the number 2 versus the number 3 seed in the Region 13B tournament. That's going to take place in Brainerd as Central Lakes host that, as they are the Northern Division champs. So the Voyagers playing volleyball next week. No matter what happens today, hopefully it's off with a win and a positive thing going into the playoffs next week. Last night was a big night in area volleyball as the quarterfinals were played in all 3 sections of 7A, 7AA, and 7AAA. Let's start in 7A. Carleton County over Cromwell 3 sets to 2. Cook County down Silver Bay in 3 sets. Deer River upsets number 1 seed Hill City in 4 sets, and Northwoods downs number 2 Cherry in 4 sets as well. So it sets up these semifinals next Wednesday in Virginia at 5:30 and at 7:30 as Carleton will take on Deer River, Cook County, and Northwoods. In AA last night, no upsets. The number 1s and the number 2 seeds all win. Number 1 Hermantown over Virginia, who eliminated the Broncos on Wednesday night in 3 sets. Rush City over Pine City in 3 sets. Rush City, the number 1 seed. Rush City gets number 2 Greenway as they sweep Hibbing out of the playoffs in 3 sets. And number 2 Aiken, they'll face Hermantown as they down Duluth Marshall in 4 sets. Those matches on Wednesday as well at Duluth Denfeld. In 7 AAA last night, a couple of interesting games. Number 1 Elk River loses to number 9 North Branch in 5 sets. It shows you that the upsets can happen. So North Branch travels to Grand Rapids on Wednesday. Grand Rapids defeated Anoka 3-1. Cambridge, Isani, and Princeton, the number 2 and number 3 seeds, each win in 4 sets. So all those matches going on next Wednesday. So Wednesday is a huge day for the section of volleyball semifinals as we get closer and closer to the state tournament. Fort Francis Lakers scored 2 first period goals last night to lead 2-0 after the first period, but ended up losing by a score of 4-3 in a shootout to Thunder Bay. Julian Orunyuk, scored in the first and third periods, and Jared Burton got the other first period marker as the Lakers now have a record of 2-9 on the season and sit in 5th place in the 6-team SIJHL. Brandon Bodner was in goal. He stopped 34 of 37 shots as the Lakers were outshot 37-24 for the game. The Lakers host Dryden tonight at 7:30. Last night in the World Series, one of those games, you would think a 1-0 game couldn't go that long, but it does, of course. 30 seconds, 4 minutes of commercials in between innings, all the pitching changes and the reviews and everything else, but Cleveland gets the win. In the first World Series game played at Wrigley Field since 1945, they win by that score of 1-0. Cleveland leads the series 2-1. Game 4 is tonight at 7 o'clock. In college hockey last night, number 3 in the nation, Denver downs Western Michigan 3-1. UMD, the number 2 in the nation, takes down number 1 in the nation, North Dakota 5-2. Bemidji State over Alaska Anchorage 2-1 in overtime. Mankato defeats Fair State 4-2. Minnesota in overtime over Clarkson 4-3. St. Cloud 5-1 over Alabama Huntsville. Wisconsin takes down St. Lawrence 5-2. And Nebraska Omaha, they take down number 5 UMass Lowell at home by a score of 5-1. And women's hockey last night, number 1 Wisconsin 3-0 over Mankato. Number 3 Duluth 6-0 over Ohio State. Number 2 Minnesota completes the sweep of St. Cloud State 3-0, and North Dakota the upset of Bemidji State last night by a score of 5-2. Number 1 UMD volleyball team in the nation lost for the 2nd straight match on Friday as they lost to Sioux Falls at home in 5 sets. It doesn't get any easier today as they face number 2 in the nation, Southwest Minnesota State, at 4 o'clock. That is at a Romano Gym on the campus of UMD. Free admission if you're a volleyball fan and you want to go down and watch some pretty good Division II volleyball. Free admission at Romano Gym. In the Big Ten volleyball last night, number 3 Minnesota in the nation, number 3 sweeps Rutgers out, but they get number 10 Penn State today at 6:30. A couple weeks ago, these two teams played, went 5 sets. Minnesota could not pull off the upset in Happy Valley. Already mentioned going on today, the Lakers are at home against Dryden at 7:30 at Ice for Kids Arena. The Falls Bowling team, who we're going to have on the air here in a few minutes, in an interview that I taped yesterday afternoon, they're on their way to Grand Rapids to take on all the area teams at noon. And already mentioned that the Rainy River volleyball teams is in Thief River Falls to take on Northland in their final regular season match. College football today, Gophers are at Illinois at 11 o'clock. You can see that game on BTN. St. John's and Gunnar Anderson and his Johnnies are off this week, their final week off before finishing up the regular season over the next couple of weeks and then getting into the playoffs. Bemidji State is at St. Cloud State at 1 o'clock. UMD is at Crookston at 1. North Dakota State, a huge matchup at Northern Iowa. It always is when those two teams play. That game is at 6 o'clock tonight. UND versus Weber State at 1 o'clock. In Division 1A, the big boys, number 4 Washington is at number 17 Utah at 2:30. In the Big Ten, number 7 Nebraska sneaking up the rankings. They are at number 11 Wisconsin. That game plays at 6 o'clock tonight. And number 3 Clemson is at number 12 Florida State at 7 o'clock. I think that's the one. As much as Nebraska and Wisconsin close to home, I think Clemson and Florida State gets the nod tonight. That along with the World Series ought to make for a very interesting evening of flipping channels, as of course you'll have the Wild versus Dallas at 7 o'clock. The Wild coming off the road swing out to the East Coast where they ended up getting 2 out of 2. Pre-game at 6:45 on 12:30 a.m. tonight, and again the drop of the puck just after 7 o'clock. Timberwolves coming off their season opening loss on Wednesday night to Memphis. They are on the West Coast. They're out at Sacramento. That game is on at 9:30 tonight. Coming up in the NFL this weekend, the Vikings are at Chicago on Monday night. We'll see if the Vikes can rebound and make a better showing than they did last week against Philly. The Detroit Lions are at Houston at noon, and Atlanta hosts Green Bay at 3:25. We'll take a break and we'll come back with the Rainy River women's basketball team. That's what's coming up next as they get a preview to their season. You're listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online at KSDMradio.com. Well, welcome back to Coach's Corner for our second segment here this morning, and joined by a former Bronco and a Bronco, a guy who's been in town for longer than I have. So that's a long time. As I've been in town for almost 23 years. So Dieter, I don't know, you came to the Falls in what, 1985? Okay, 85, all right. That's a few years longer, about 10 years longer. So obviously Dieter Humbert and Cassie Tomczak, those are the two individuals that I'm talking about. And here we're going to talk about Rainy River women's basketball. And Coach, things have been underway for weeks. It seems like you guys have been over at the gym working, and you still got a few more weeks to go before your first games. But talk about how things have gone for the month of October, because I guess I got to believe it's got to be tough keeping the girls focused when the games are so far away.
Yeah, that's true, Tim. We're the earliest start in the country. October 1, the community conference started actually 2 weeks in advance of the NCAAs. And I'm always thankful for the scrimmage we have down in Anoka, because that kind of splits the time between first practice and our first games. But it's good to have some extended time to get things put in and implement your system and teach the fundamentals the way you want to execute it. But it's been good. It's been good. The scrimmage went well down there. We played Anoka tough. Noka's always the power in the south, and we beat Fergus Falls, and then we split with Rochester, who I think right now is probably the best team in the state. So we represent it well, and I think we've got a pretty high ceiling, and we're very encouraged, especially with a young squad.
Cassie, talk a little bit more, because it's easy when you're coaching to go over there and stand and hold the whistle and tell people what to do, but you're the one that's actually out on the court every day since October 1. Talk about the challenges for a player from that aspect to have to be like we talked about, practicing for 6 or 7 weeks prior to that first game.
We got a lot of work to do, so it's good to have that time to but we're just going to work on a lot of things, and once the game starts, we're ready to go.
Let's talk about some of your teammates, some of the girls that are back, who along with you are sophomores and coming back for another season with the Voyager basketball team.
We got Little Ma and Alicia coming back, right? So we got 2 sophomores.
Okay, so obviously there's some new talent. You could play with only 3, but you don't want to, Coach. Prefer not to. To talk about some of the freshmen, the new girls, the new ladies that are in town to play basketball for the Voyagers.
Yeah, they've come from a variety of places. We've got a couple girls from Milwaukee, Shamar Clay and Chastity Lewis. We've got Kelsey Tischler out of a little small town in Texas. We've got Rajane Grant out of community right outside of Houston, Texas. And we've got returning Tashara Sheftel, we call her Little Ma, and she's from Florida. Elisha Cherry from Boston, returning. And then we've got a few more here. Yeah, we got Sophia Witherspoon, who played in WNBA. We've got 2 of her players, Janelle Pierre-Louis and Charity Joseph, whose sister Ebony played here a couple years ago. And we've got Belon Mobley, who played at Maynard Evans High School in Orlando.
Wow.
And Serena.
And we got a rival, Serena Prendo from ESCO.
Okay.
We've got a nice mix.
So let's talk about the team. Obviously, when you're bringing in new ladies every couple of years, you got to kind of find out what kind of team you have. So what kind of team do we have? Is it a running team? Is it up tempo, or is this going to be a slow down? Let's get it into the bigs. What are we looking at, Coach?
Oh, it's definitely an up tempo team. That's our strength. We want to get up the floor and move the ball and find the open look, attack the lanes. Dribble penetrate. We've got people that can finish inside off the drive. But we're undersized, and so we definitely want to get up tempo team. We've got some people that can score, so it's exciting.
Cassie, you like playing that style of basketball? Is that really what you like to go on, Coach?
Yes, I love it. I love it. It's a lot different. It's a lot of fun.
It seems to me, and talk maybe a little bit more about your game, because I think we talked about this last year, Cassie. We talked about the fact that maybe when you were a Bronco, when you played with the Falls, that you were more of the orchestrator. You were more of the point guard, pass the ball, those kinds of things. And when you had a chance to score, you scored, but it was more getting everybody else the ball. Last year, you went and played with Rainey, and Coach asked you to shoot the ball and shoot it. Number one, is it a good change? Do you enjoy that change? And 2, what is it about that you enjoy about that type about getting to score, and not just getting your name in the press box and everything? But what else about it do you enjoy about it?
I definitely like shooting more. My role is definitely a lot different at Rainey. I'm not the point guard, but I definitely like shooting. It's nice to be shooting more.
Is it something with this team of finding the mix? And Coach talked about this. It's nice to have that extended period of time to get to know your teammates, but at the same time, there must be a little bit of a drag in there. Like you said, you got the scrimmage a week or so ago, but finding a way to keep things light and happy, energetic at practice, while you're not just preparing for an opponent where you're just working on drills.
We're just working on drills right now. We're starting to learn more drills, still getting to know each other. but it's good. Yeah. Once games start, it'll be good.
Let's talk about the opponents coming up there. You probably had a chance to look at some of the teams down in at the scrimmage. What did you see out of the Northern Division? Who's out there that maybe you know, Coach, about who's out there that has recruited well and there's going to be some good opposition for Rainy this winter?
Yeah, well, we saw Northland and Hibbing down there, and certainly Northland looks like the team to beat again. They're tough, they got some bigs, but they lost some talented players off the team that took second in the nation last year. So there's going to be some transitional issues there. Mesabi brings back a lot of players. I think they lost 2 starters, so they, a team that took second in division last year, so they're going to be a team that's formidable. Tasca brings back a nice group too with a prolific scorer out of Fond du Lac. So those 3, I think, are the teams that I'm looking to. I think Central recruited well. I think they'll be solid. Vermilion's got a new coach. Not so sure what their situation is going to look like. Fond du Lac, had some turnover as well. So I think there's going to be a little bit more separation possibly in the standings this year.
We talk about maybe the opponent. I ask all the teams from Rainy this, Cassie. I always ask them who's the best rival that you have. Who do you love competing against the most? Who did you play against last year that maybe you're looking at? Maybe we got a little payback, or you had some really good games with them, and you're really looking forward to. And again, you play some of these teams during that pre-part of the season in these tournaments, but you get a chance to play them in January and February. Who are you looking forward to most playing?
One of our biggest rivalries would have to be Mesabi East. We always have a good game against them. It's just always a good, tough competition with them. And then there's always Northland that always want to beat.
Yeah, they like Coach said, they kind of are the standard. They're the team that's always out there. It seems to me, Coach, and you're involved with softball and you're involved with, what is it about Mesabi? Why in volleyball it always seems like there's good matches. In basketball it's always good. In softball, you guys are always the top of the division. What is it about these 2 schools that make it so competitive? Either one of you take a flyer at that one.
I don't know. Maybe because we're all from Minnesota. Not everyone, but I've seen a lot of those girls play before too, like in high school. It's kind of cool, like coming here and seeing college and stuff with other people, like with other girls and stuff. I don't know why it's always Mesabi that.
Coach, you got a thought on that? I mean, Vermilion and Hibbing and they all sit out there, but it seems like Rainy and Mesabi, and even and same thing in the men's sports.
Yeah, I think they generally have strong coaches. I think that's a big piece. The position, geographically, they're located in a great spot. They got a great area to recruit from, so they always have those strong area kids. I think that's a big piece. We share a great president. Carol Ellen was outstanding, and she has to wear both hats when she goes to games. But it is kind of a unique rivalry because we're generally strong in all the sports, and most schools are. And it's probably our strongest rival, because of that, and proximity. If anybody's close, I guess they're the closest. We have some fun with it.
Alumni game coming up on November 12th. Is that correct? Is that still a go?
Still a go. Yeah, we got some girls coming in. Unfortunately, one of our alumni, Shania, who's finishing up here this year, just recently broke her finger, so she won't be able to participate. She was amping it up already, but we got Dominique will be back, and Alicia Brinker and Bailey will play, and a couple girls are coming from out of the area, so we're looking forward to that.
First games then on the 18th and the 19th up at Ely at the Vermilion tournament, and then Thanksgiving weekend not off. You guys are going. Did I see you guys are going to Illinois? Is that true?
That is off.
That is off.
Yeah, we were able to put together another complement to that. We just couldn't justify going out for the one game.
Sure. Okay, I was looking at that, and then the first weekend in December, you guys get home games. So we're just over a month away, and once the snow starts flying. I always think about basketball season being a marathon. Do you guys look at it that way, or is it just fly by once the game started? Really, just fly by?
It does and it doesn't. For the most part, it goes by past like
There you go, Coach. You agree? Even though you start October 1 and you don't end until March 1, that seems to me that's 5 months. That seems like a long time, but does it really kind of fly by? Because, especially when you get into the division in January and February, you're playing usually Wednesday and then Friday, Saturday, sometimes, or Wednesday, Saturday. So there's really no time to rest and kind of relax.
Yeah, I kind of break it into 3 seasons. The kind of preseason where you got the build up and scrimmage at Anoka. Then you get into the non-conference schedule, which is those games prior to the conference. And then the conference season, which I do think kind of goes fast. The first part, like I say, a little bit more segmented, but once you get to that conference schedule, the division schedule, it seems to go pretty fast. And that's where you got to be really ready for the ride.
Appreciate you guys coming in this morning and giving us a preview of what's coming up. And again, the first home games for Rainy River are on December 2nd and December 2nd and 3rd. That's the Friday and Saturday. So get on out and support both the women's and men's team. Peter Humbert and Cassie Tomczak, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Tim.
We'll take a break and we'll come back with the the Falls bowling team. You're listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardy's on K104 and online at KSDN Radio. Welcome back for our next segment of Coach's Corner, joined by the Falls High bowling team, joined by coaches Ralph Rule and Barry Miller. Well, had a brain just right there, a little stoppage in the brain, long day, and also by Sam Maxwell, Owen Amundsen, and Nick Tanner. And guys, it's been a pretty successful start to the season. What's the number one reason for that, Barry?
Well, I'll tell you, they've been really working hard, practicing. We started back in August, and we ran them through the ringer pretty well. And I'll be honest, these guys have dedication. And when we started out practicing a minimum of twice a week, they're the ones who wanted to do 3 times a week. So we come on there Tuesday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And with that hard work, they're just getting better and better.
Ralph, you've been involved with the program, I believe, since the start.
Right.
And so is it the hard work, or is it now the experience of going into these competitions where the kids maybe, the nerves maybe don't get to them quite as much? Is all the hard work paying off? What else do you see as the reasons for the success?
Well, part of it is the kids that are returning. They've been in it, they have some experience, and they're all really helping one another. Probably the first year I really feel like we have a team that's bowling. And it's nice to see, and the younger ones, they're getting helped and they're getting the experience. I think over the next year or two, we're going to continue to take everything over.
Sammy Maxwell, you've been bowling, I think, since the start. It seems like, in my mind, pretty close the last 3 years, right? Yeah. What do you see as maybe something that maybe new you've learned, or what you've learned to capitalize on what the coaches maybe have been trying to show you over the last couple of years?
I think I've learned mostly that just coaches know what's best for you. Don't try anything radically new. Just do what the coaches tell you and you'll succeed.
Oh, and it's something that I guess when I hear about the format of how this goes, you only get to bowl like two frames for a game. So how tough is that to stay focused when you get to bowl every fifth frame?
Well, it's really difficult to stay focused, but it takes a lot of discipline to keep focused, and some of the guys have really improved on that.
Well, I think after reading the newspaper article over the weekend or during the week, Nick, you're one of those guys that has had some pretty good success. Sounded like you liked the pressure of bowling that 10th frame. Talk about what it is about it that makes bowling that 10th frame a challenge, and also something you like to do.
The challenge in bowling the 10th frame would probably be you want to throw your best shot in that final frame to give your team as much help as possible. But one thing that you really need to work on is calm down in that 10th frame and make sure you throw your shot and stay relaxed and positive.
The conference, the league that you guys are in has Hibbing, Grand Rapids, and Greenway, and so it seems like over the last couple of years, things have been fairly even, fairly competitive, but it seems like you guys have maybe come to the top of the heap. Ralph, do you agree with that?
Well, for a while, Rapids had the big guns. They had a boy that was third in state, and so they were kind of controlling things. Last year, Greenway came on pretty strong, and to us, they're kind of the team to beat, and we've managed to do that. So I think maybe we're the team to beat.
That's a good feeling to have. Barry, you guys get a chance to host the conference tournament that's coming up the weekend of November 12th, Saturday, November 12th. Is that a rotational basis, or is there some reason why something you guys have done during the season for that to have happened?
Basically, they try to rotate it amongst the teams out there every year, and it happened to turn out this year. It was our opportunity to host it, and to have the home field advantage is going to be great.
It seems to me that knowing your lanes and everything would be a very much a positive. One team eliminated this year. I think Deer River had bowled in the past. I think that's correct. Just not enough kids, Ralph?
Yeah, they just didn't have the interest, I guess. However, it sounds like Virginia is looking very strongly at fielding a team next year, so that should build us back up again.
So we got the conference tournament, we'll call it that, coming up in a couple of weeks. What comes after that, Sammy? What are the possibilities going forward after that tournament on the 12th?
Well, after that, me, Owen, and Nick are looking to prepare for All Conference, which is a tournament with the top 8 bowlers in every conference, every league. And you go down to the cities, bowl against basically the whole state.
So, guys, Sam said you guys are going. Is this what's happening, Nick?
Yeah. Hopefully.
There's still some bowling left here. You guys are in Grand Rapids on Saturday, or unless something really radically goes bad, are you guys both going to be in that situation?
Well, I'd say since I'm in 2nd out of 8, I'm pretty well placed in.
Okay.
But Owen needs to try to bowl as hard as he can this Saturday and try to fight his way back in, which I think he can do.
Where are you sitting at, Owen?
I am actually not in it because I missed the last meet. So my participation, which has to be at 70%, is actually at 60%.
I love the math. So by participating on Saturday, today, you're going to be able to have that participation level up, correct?
If I keep my fills at in the top 8.
Sammy's being a little modest.
Modest?
He also has a chance, very good chance, of being in the top 8.
And what does Sammy have to do to do that? Because he's not going to tell us. I'm just going to
just bowl good. Don't screw up. Don't make stupid shots. Just pick up spares.
At this level, and with the guys that have been playing this way, of course, I'll talk from my bowling experience. There's no hook on my ball. There's nothing fancy to it. Do these guys play the hook? Do they play the bend in the throwing of the ball? And is it at this level vital that they do that?
We have about 5 out of the 8 throw a hook. The other 3 throw pretty straight. They're learning, and I'm guessing by next year they will have fingertip balls that will hook. We're trying to refine the rest of them, and I think it's getting successful, and we're seeing a lot of improvement.
What's the biggest challenge, Barry, that you see to getting kids to be able to throw the hook and put that arc in the ball and finding maybe how to read lanes and everything else, because like you said, every alley I'm sure has different lanes.
They do. There's a lot of adjustment. We've worked with them on lane conditions. We've worked on timing, their follow through, and it can make a big difference if they really do the fundamentals. And our teams have come really well on doing that so far.
Number one thing, Nick, that you got to keep doing to be successful and have a good end of the season.
Make sure people make their full count and make sure people make the right move. People have a tendency to make the wrong moves, and that's what's kind of been our flaw in the past, but I think we finally found that little niche in our get up. So.
I want to expound. I want to go a little bit further on that. What's the wrong move? Give me an example, because where are we going with that? Is that standing on the wrong arrow? Is that standing on the wrong board? What are we talking about with the wrong move?
Let's say you start out your foot is on the 20 board and you throw out to the 10 board. If your ball is not hooking up to the pocket and not getting that strike, you want to make sure you make the right move, and people are not making that right move.
And I'll ask maybe Owen, and maybe you guys can answer this, but is it easy to make that move? Is it an easy adjustment, Owen?
Oh, no. Sometimes you can move one board and not move your mark, and even if you miss right before that, and you can miss left of the pocket and come high and leave stuff, or you could move left if you're missing left, and it'll come up shallow. So it's kind of hard finding exactly where. You don't actually have to move right or left. You can move a little bit closer to the foul line. You can move further away from the foul line.
Sammy, last word. You got it. What do I need to know about the bowling team that people out there need to know and that we haven't talked about yet?
Our team, we're a team. We are bowling as a team. We're picking each other up, not putting each other down. We got to meet November 12th. Come out and support us. Be there or be square.
That is well said, guys. I appreciate your time and wish you best of the luck on here on the 29th and also next week or in a couple of weeks on the 12th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ralph Rule, Barry Miller, Sammy Maxwell, Owen Amundsen, and Nick Tanner.